Super Rugby round 1 is continuing on Saturday with a few other games. As I said, I'm separating my Friday and Saturday games now in 2 separate videos. I'm just testing out if this format works a little bit better. So if it does work for you, just leave a comment down below and tell me your thoughts about the new way I am doing stuff. The games we will see on Saturday will be the Sunwolves versus the Rebels, the Crusaders and the Waratahs, the Stormers and the Hurricanes, and then technically on Sunday we'll see the Jaguares versus the Lions. And if you want to see timestamps for that or the time links for that, it is down in the description below or in the comments as well. Game 1 is the Sunwolves versus the Rebels. In their last season, the Sunwolves, so basically it's a new camp all over again. It's new players completely. An awesome video that 2 Cents Rugby did. He's basically the holy grail of any type of channel like this. He just does the best type of job. He is the guy that all of us wants to be like. And basically he said 16% of the Sunwolves team is actually locally born. The rest are actually foreigners. And yeah, you can see it by the looks of things when you actually get to this team. And I can't see it going well for them in this season. For the Rebels, they brought in a lot of new players. They lost some big names like Cooper and Genia. And they'll want to prove themselves without them. Especially Dave Wessels, the coach. He's had great starts to basically every season he has been coaching. But then the team just dropped him every time. About halfway through the season. A closer look at the teams. The front row for the Rebels, they have Saaga, they have Rangi. He's a good player. Last year he was quite impressive for me. And Ainsley. And they are going up against the front row of the Sunwolves, who are Adams, Brekvadze, who is back from Georgia. That's good to see him back in the competition again. And Van Vieren. And comparing the 2 front rows, you can't really spot a better team or a better front row between the 2. The second row for the Sunwolves, they have Yatabe and Stolberg. To be honest, I have no idea who these guys are, so I'm not even gonna try and pretend. The second row for the Rebels, they have Haylett Petty and Philip. Philip was awesome in 2019. I had him in my fantasy team all the time. So yeah, if you do play fantasy rugby, you play Superbru maybe, look in the description below and join the Superbru pools. It is not too late yet. And this partnership for the Rebels, it is a good one and it is growing every single season. Then we go to the loose forwards for the Rebels. They have Cottrell and Liotta. Those are the flankers. And the number 8, the strong carrying Wallaby Naisarani. Look out for him. He's just going to always bust some tackles. He's actually very quick as well. He just runs like a typical Fijian with that ball. The loose forwards for the Sunwolves, they have O'Connor and Nunamaki, I think that's how you pronounce it. And Schatz, it's good to see him back in the Super Rugby mix again. And he's probably the first good-ish player that we have listed in the Sunwolves team so far. Getting to the 9-10 combo of the Sunwolves, they have the ex-Springbok and Cheetah and Blue Bull player, Rudy Page. He used to be pretty good back in the day. I don't know how he's going to do now anymore, but hopefully for them he does still play to a pretty good level. And then number 10, Garth April. He never really lived up to the potential he was hyped up to be, but hey, there's always some change in some players somewhere, so hopefully for them they do step up. Then for the Rebels, where the Sunwolves have a pretty average combo, the Rebels have a Fijian star finally in Super Rugby, Lemani, and then the Wallaby Matamua at number 10. They lost Guinea and Cooper, so they really needed someone to step in and actually replace them, because that's a star power over there. And I think they didn't do too bad. I think Lemani and Tumua might actually complement each other pretty well in that respect. At number 12 for the Rebels, one of my favorite number 12s, I think Billy Meeks. He is a tough SOB, and I love seeing him run with the ball. I love seeing him get into the action all the time. So I just like the guy. So let's hope he does well this season. And number 13, Reece Hodge, also a guy that can just play everywhere over the park. And this time they chose to pick him at number 13. This could work pretty well actually with Tumua and Meeks in the inside. I think this could work well, and you could see him get some tries in this weekend's rugby against the Sunwolves. Maybe a tip for fantasy rugby. Then for the Sunwolves, they have Tio, the former English player and British and Irish Lion star. He used to be good though, so hopefully he can do it in Super Rugby as well. And then Moria. Out wide for the Sunwolves, they have Tasi, Fafita and Dargaville. They are going up against Callaway from the Rebels. He has just a knack of scoring tries. Kiribeti, he has a knack of scoring tries. And then Dan Haylett-Petty, should I repeat myself once more, he is the captain of the side and he just brings everything together. And yeah, just a great player all over. The players on the bench to watch, I'm not going to go through the whole list. For the Sunwolves, they basically only have Engelbrecht to watch out for. He played a couple of tests for the Springboks. And then the Rebels, they have Ruan Smith, who moved over from the Reds. He's a good player. And they also have Wells. At the end of the day, yes, the Sunwolves are at home. They usually play a little bit better at home, but they never win. I mean, they really struggle to get wins going. And looking at it, at the team, they don't have a very strong team. It doesn't really give me a reason to change my mind, and I really don't see them winning this one. They should lose by 15 points. Next up, it is last year's champions, the Crusaders, up against the Waratahs. Scott Robertson, the coach of the Crusaders, will want to prove that he is the best coach in New Zealand. Even after losing 7 All Blacks, he will want to prove that he can still coach any team to success in Super Rugby. While the Waratahs, they did not have the best 2019, so they'll want to improve from that. And what a better way to do that than taking down the champions, taking down a young Crusader side actually. The Crusaders did rest some big names with the New Zealand resting policy and all that kind of stuff. Let's start off with the good stuff, the guys with all the difficult names at the back. Kurtley Beale, that's not a difficult one, at number 15. I was sure he will start at number 10 this season, a little bit more, but he's at number 15. That's not where I prefer him. Actually, I do prefer him there, but that's if the number 10 is a little bit better. At the moment, I think he should be playing at number 10 because the Waratahs need him there. For the wings, let's pause a little bit here for me to just get this one right. Nawakwanita Wase. I think that's how you say it, right? But from now on, I'm just going to call him number 14. I think he's had a promising preseason. He had quite a good season so far. And Newsom also rounding out the back three. Then Avili at the fullback for the Crusaders. We all know what he can do. He's a very dangerous player. On the Superbru Fantasy, also a good player to pick. Jordan, he was a star on the rise last year, until he got a little bit injured and then re-stepped in, and then he just never got a break again. So hopefully he can do that again. And then another player with a difficult name at number 11, Fainga Anuku. I think that's right as well. It's a big lad. If you want to watch some good highlight videos, check out his videos. Great player to watch. He's big, he's strong, and I can't wait for the commentators to say number 11 is tackling number 14, just the full surnames. Centers for the Crusaders, they have Eno, one of the breakthrough players of last year. And then Goodhue, obviously he's an All Black, he's going to be good. He is shifted in from his regular position though, from 13 to 12, but I think he can do it. Then it is Waratahs, they have Hunt and Fuketi. 9-10 combo for the Waratahs. They have Gordon and Harrison. Harrison has big shoes to fill of Foley. For the Crusaders, they have a bit of a different combo, a better combo though. They have Drummond. Mahunga is just great. He's the All Blacks playmaker, and you can watch out for some cross kicks coming in for those wingers to score some tries. At the loose forwards for the Crusaders, they have Sanders, Christie and Wetu Douglas, also a good player. For the Waratahs, they have Swinton, Hooper, who now relinquished his captaincy by himself. Maybe this is a bit better for him to actually focus on his game a little bit more. He's a great player if he's a captain or not, so hopefully that's good for him. And Holloway. In the second row for the Waratahs, they have Staniforth and Simmons. Both of them are good locks. Simmons, he is the new captain now. They will have their hands full against Scott Barrett, and the other lock, look out for him. He has a knack of scoring tries. And then Dunshire. The Crusaders front row might surprise you a little bit after resting some All Blacks and putting them on the bench. They have Bauer, Makaleo and Jaeger. And then the Waratahs, they picked basically the strongest front row that they have left after guys like Latu and Polatanau and those guys left. They have Robertson, Bell and Talakai. Players on the bench to watch. The Crusaders bench is really one you should watch. They have Taylor, Alatoa and Hall on there, and Sevu Reece, I mean one of the top scorers of last year. He's going to do great when he comes on. And for the Waratahs, they have their new player, Jack Maddox, a great try scorer, prolific runner. I think he's going to do well when he actually comes onto the park. The Crusaders, they are definitely the stronger side looking at it. Even if they have a few guys on the bench that's supposed to be starting and resting some big names, I think they could still dominate all facets of play. And in front of the Nelson crowd, actually a special game in front of the Nelson crowd, I think they'll win this one by 17 points. Then the game I'm most excited for, you can see I'm wearing quite a classic Stormers jersey. The Stormers versus the Hurricanes. Look, I might maybe be a little bit more fair to each team a little bit later on to the season, but it's the first weekend. I can't wait for my team to actually get going and play Super Rugby. There are a lot of people saying the Stormers will win this season or be at least contenders for the South African Conference. And you can kind of see why. They have a super strong team if you look at it. And it's their last season at Newlands. That's a little bit of extra motivation for those guys to just send off the old lady in style. The Hurricanes, they've lost Beauden Barrett. That's a big loss for them. No one really knows what to make of that and how they're going to replace him. They also don't have Adi Savea for a very long time in this season. He's injured. And they were probably the two best players in 2019 for the Hurricanes, bar Laumape, who is still there, Paranara, he's still there, and Jordie Barrett is still there. That's three big names still in the side. Let's get a closer look at the team. The Stormers, they have 10 Springboks in their side, 7 World Cup winners from those Springboks, and 1 Welsh international. Everyone knows who that is by now. Let's start at the front row where everything is interesting. Kitsov Mbunambi Malherbe, that's basically a World Cup winning front row. You won't get much better than that in the Super Rugby competition. They are going up against a pretty strong front row of Armstrong, Riccatelli, one of my favorite hookers, and Lomax, a very good signing for the Hurricanes. If you want to see all the big signings, there is a video that I did about that. Then second row, there is Blackwell and Scrafton. Second row for the Stormers, though, they have the former junior Bok captain Saman Murat and also Chris van Zyl, who used to captain the VPS side. So both of them pretty good. And that's even without guys like Schikkerling and Viso, who are out injured. They are saying they are coming back pretty soon. Not a bad combination, is it? In the loose forwards, they have Jaco Coetzee at number 6. He was great in 2019. He is a typical fetcher. He scores tries every now and then as well. And then we get to the star power of the Stormers. They have the 2019 World Player of the Year and the 3-time South African Player of the Year, Pieter Steph de Tooy. Tackling machine. I call him Tracker. The name hasn't caught on yet, but hopefully it does somewhere. He just is a workaholic. He never stops his engine, never quits. Hopefully they don't rush him into the game a little bit too early. He was out injured a little bit. So, yeah, hopefully he doesn't get injured again. Then a South African captain, Siya Kolisi. He rounds out the team at number 8. They're continuing with him at number 8. I think it could be interesting. I think he has the right kind of play for that. He could maybe shift in there quite easily. Look, you'll always struggle to compete with that, but the Hurricanes, they have Princept Karifi, a good fetcher of the ball as well, and Evans. Then number 9 for the Hurricanes, they have Peranara. He'll have a very important season this year, being the leader of the side now as well, and one of the old heads in the side as well. And number 10, Fletcher Smith. I haven't seen much of this guy, and yeah, I don't know how he replaces a guy like Beauden Barrett, but maybe he's good enough. What I've seen from him, I haven't seen anything promising yet. Then the Stormers, they basically have 2 young superstars at the moment, or 2 guys that's still going to grow a lot. They have Herschel Yankees, very similar player to that of Peranara actually, so that's going to be an interesting battle actually. and Damian Willemse, and you can just expect some great moves between these two. They really complement each other. If you look at them on paper, they haven't played much together yet, but I think it's going to be a good one. They're still young. They can only get better. Hopefully for Willemse, he won't get injured this season because he's trying to make that number 10 jersey his own, just like Bosch is trying to do. So it's a kind of a little bit of a battle for that number 10 jersey at the Springboks, or at least who's going to be the substitution for Handré Pollard. One of the guys to help them grow is Jamie Roberts, the Welsh international. 94 caps for Wales, 3 caps for the British and Irish Lions. He's just so experienced, a very strong runner. If you want to see crash ball, this is the guy to pass to. He's very big. I think he's 1.93 meters tall and he's 110 kgs. That's what I read from Wikipedia, not the most trusty place to find information. But yeah, that's what I get. Then Ruanel, he's quicker than Jamie Roberts. You're just going to get him unleashing that back three. Very strong back three. The 7-star Senatla Peterson, and in the playmaker Dylan Lade. So there's some star power in that side. Getting back to the centers though, for the Hurricanes, they have Laumape, the try-scoring machine. He's just going to run straight as well. Going to try and get that gap. So if your defense line isn't covering every gap, you might get some spaces. And that's where I'm a little bit worried with Jamie Roberts being new to the side. There might be gaps where he's not used to the system yet. And then Proctor at number 13. The outside backs for the Hurricanes, they have... also have an exciting side. They have Lamb, Goosen and Barrett. All of them great try scorers. The bench players to look out for both sides. The Stormers, they have a 6-2 split actually, just like the Springboks. So that's an interesting one to go with. So it's 6 forwards and 2 backs. Ntubeni is back. He's also a Springbok now. Ali Vermaak, that's a good one for him. Just a great story of hurting his neck very badly, and actually doctors telling him he won't play again, and he actually made it back and got into professional rugby now back again. Low as well, and then Pretorius, he's going to be a star in the making this season, especially under the guidance of Jamie Roberts. He's also an inside centre, by the way. And in the Hurricanes, they basically have Jamie Booth, who they brought in from the Sunwolves, and then Vince also a very strong player. At the end of the day, the Stormers, they are at home. They are the stronger team on paper. Not only that, 8 of the last 9 games between these two sides have been won by the home side. So the home side usually wins this one. The Stormers, they are very confident at the moment. Hopefully that doesn't really weigh too much on them, or hopefully that doesn't make them actually lose this one. If they don't make silly mistakes that the Hurricanes pounce on and score easy tries from, I do see the Stormers winning this one by 5 points. Then we get to the last game of the weekend, that is on Sunday. It is last year's runners-up, the Jaguares. They have still a pretty strong team. They just lost guys like Lavanini and Matera, and they will probably not be that satisfied with second place last year, so they will want to actually get first place this year. So get ready for a backlash from the Jaguares. For the Lions, they have a new coach, a new captain, and pretty much a new look side with a lot of players leaving the side, a lot of big names. So they'll just want to prove all the haters wrong, all the doubters wrong, that they can still do it with this weaker side that everyone is calling it. But it might be a tough one for them because they've only won 1 out of the last 4 times that they have been in Argentina. Let's start this one off with a back 3. At fullback, we have Tian Swanepoel. He has a massive boot on him. I've seen footage of him kicking a goal kick from 58 meters over, and he says he does it from 65 meters in training. So let's see if he can do that in an actual match. Then at number 14, it is Tyrone Green. He's just South Africa's Damian McKenzie. I like seeing him run with the ball. And then at 11, it is the former Bok and now the senior head in the team, one of the senior heads. He's going to have some pressure on him. For the Jaguares, interestingly enough, they have Carreras at fullback with Buffelli on the wing. It's quite strange because Buffelli is probably one of the best fullbacks in the world. He's still dangerous though, so he might be a dangerous winger as well. He's just prolific runner and he likes getting around players, so let's see how that goes. Then Dalguy is on the other wing. He just has that stepping talent. He'll just step you in a small box, so let's see if that happens as well. In the centers for the Jaguares, they have Malia and Moroni, and they are going up against the new look center pairing for the Lions, the former Stormer Dan Kriel and the former Bull Matthews combining together to make the new midfield for the Lions. The 9-10 combo for the Lions, 9 is Warner. He hopes to get a little bit more time this year from the Lions than he got from the Bulls. Then it's Yankees at number 10. He's just the leader of the group now. He's basically one of the senior heads, and he was good last year. Good enough to be Pollard's understudy yet again. So hopefully for him, he continues on that spell and continues playing like that. The 19 combo for the Jaguares, though, they have Kubali as their captain, and Bonilla, he continues at number 10. I think he was great last year. Unfortunately, he didn't get a call up to the World Cup, but I think that's unfortunate. He had a great year, and he is very good with his game management with the boot, considering that he is actually a fullback. Last year was kind of like a tester to see him at number 10. Loose forwards for the Jaguares, they have Gorison, Kramer, he's powerful, a very powerful runner. Then Lozano, and those three guys have big shoes to fill with Matera now leaving the team that's not there anymore. They're going to have to play their skins out to actually do what he does on a daily basis. The loose forwards for the Lions, they have Marnus Skuman. Less penalties from him will be better. He just gives away so many penalties, and that costs his side more than he actually does on the field. But he doesn't have a knack of scoring tries as well. Then Chituka, he has strong runs over the park as well. So you can see a battle between him and Kramer coming up. And then Massain at number 8. Moving into the locking department, the second row for the Lions, they have Ruben Skuman and the always safe at line out time, Marvin Ori. And then the second row for the Jaguares, they have the line out king Petty, and he's also good running all over the park. He makes his meters all the time. So if you want a guy for fantasy, this is your guy. Paulus is also in the second row. In the front row for the Jaguares, they have Vivas Montoya, who is ahead of Creevy. He's always been Creevy's understudy, so that's great for him to actually get his chance now. And Medrano. The front row for the Lions, they have Dylan Smith and Janssen. And then blast from the past, Yanni du Plessis. He is back in Super Rugby, 37 years old. And he'll just want to prove that he can still play at these heights. Then for the bench, the guys to look out for both teams. The Lions, they have Carlos Sardi. It's sad that he doesn't start. Actually, he had an amazing year last year. He's now permanently at the Lions. He was on a loan last year, so he's just going to want to make his mark early. He was in my fantasy team all the time. Then Diamani, strong runner. He's a 7s player as well. For the Jaguares, they have quite a few names, but if you can highlight just a few. Creevy, we all know what he can do. Chaparro, Ortega Decio, and Orlando. All of them strong players when they come on. So their bench is a bit jam-packed with talent there. Looking at this game, I think the Jaguares have a very strong team versus a young Lions team. And the Jaguares like playing a kicking game. They don't like the ball in their own half, so they kick it away and try and put the other team under pressure, and I think they might be able to do it against this young team. And if you just look at the teams on paper and you think how things will transpire, I think the Jaguares are supposed to win this one by a try or two, or try and a couple of penalties. So I think the Jaguares by 13 points. Guys, let me know your predictions for this weekend down in the comments below. If you want to play some fantasy rugby or Superbru, it is down in the description of the video. Check out any of these other videos next to me, and then I'll see you for the next one. Cheers.